Welcome guys to a new video. So today we have some wet spots in the loft because it was a little cold last night and the birds are breeding, so yeah, that's what we get. So I just cleaned the loft. I also do the floor with the loft white, and then we do the breeding cages with the burner to dry it up. So that's what we're gonna do now. Then we're gonna discuss about the young birds, how to train them and everything to prepare them for the races. So that's also what we're going to discuss in this video as well. And we're going to check on the birds. So stay tuned. So here we have some wet spots, mainly because the mineral mix. We're going to just dry it up like this. Also with the pigeon droppings, we'll get some wet spots as well. You can see it's drying nice. I hope at least. It's drying quickly, so that's really nice. So guys, we did the breeding cages with the burner. You can see it's dry again, so that's great. So now we will feed the birds. The raised birds we're gonna feed in the feeding tray, like I said in the last video. So we're gonna do that. So we feed the breeders. First youngsters will be out this weekend. So that's really nice. Then we have these guys. I did feed them on the ground because I want to learn them to eat out of my hand, just because the two new ones are a little bit stressed out, so that's why, or not stressed, more like a little bit wild when I try to catch them. So that's what I want to make sure that they are know me and are not afraid of me. So we're gonna work on that. So here we also did feed them all in the feeding tray, so they can eat what they want. So for today I won't give them the mineral mix. We'll do it the next morning. So tomorrow morning. So we're gonna talk about how to train the young birds and prepare them for the races. So that's what we're gonna do. First of all, the first moment that you will interact with your young birds is when you wean them from their parents. So I will do that around, I think, when they are like 3 weeks old. Then I will take the hen away. Mostly it is around the time that the male one will drive after the female. So that's the moment when they will start for the second round. So that's the moment when I take away the hen. So the male one will have to take care of the young birds until they can wean. So I will wean them around when the young birds are, I think, 28 days. Then they will, I will separate them from the male one. And also you can check for yourself what's the right moments to check under the wing. When they are grown, fully in feathers, you can see their skin, then they are ready. But yeah, I prefer to do it when they are around 28 till 30 days old. So with the breeders, I will leave them there until they are like 28 days old. It's just a little bit longer with their parents. They will learn something from them as well. in the first few days that they can walk. So that's why. So when the young birds are in their own loft, I'm gonna start with the breeding mixture, and they will get it until they will race or train at home at least for 30 minutes to 34 minutes. Then I will change up to the youngster mixture from bias and will feed that until the races start. But the youngster mixture, it's a little bit lighter than the breeding mixture, but the breeding mixture is more that the birds can grow out real nice, and that's for the first few months is that really nice. And then after you give the young birds mixture, you can more control the birds, like when you want them to come in to train them more or less. It means if you feed them the right way, they will train at their best. So you can do it more with the youngster mixture than a breeding mixture. The breeding mixture I think is also a little bit better than the youngsters mixture as well. So guys, at this point I did tell you something about with the young birds, with the feeding program, what I do. So when it comes up to the races, I will use the youngster mixture and a light mixture as well. So the day when the birds coming home, we will give them the youngster mixture. The day after, a lighter mixture, and then we will build it up until we basket them again. So mostly the last 2 days before basketing, we will feed them the youngster mixture, and the rest will be a mix of 50-50 or a total mix of the lighter mixture. So you will build it up till the next race, so that you will have the birds nice and round and full of energy for that race. So guys, last season I didn't use the darkening system on the young birds, and that's because I did got a different loft or part where the young birds were in, and if I will darken the birds there, it will be bad for the ventilation that we have there, so we didn't do that. But yeah, I learned from it that it's better, I think, to not use the darkening system on the young birds, just because last year I didn't have E. coli or anything like that. And yeah, the birds will molt faster than when you darken the birds, but yeah, I think to keep the birds healthy and things like that's more important. Overall, now the young birds are fully grown, molted out, and they are a lot softer and maybe even better for as a yearling. So I would say that when the young birds that are now yearlings, I think they will perform a lot better as a yearling. So yeah, we will see that in the next upcoming racing season. So yeah, last year I didn't darken the birds. I will do it this year. Also, I won't darken the birds, but if you want to do it, you can start when you wean the birds, when the birds will drop the first flight. So it means I have a bird right here that they have to drop this one. This one is the first flight. If they drop it, then you can start with darkening the birds. And you will do that until the longest day of the year. So it will be around 21 June. So then you will light the birds up as long as the day was on that day. So I think it's around 22, so 10 o'clock PM I think it is, in the evening at least. And you will start lighting the birds in the morning around 6 o'clock, so 6 AM I think. But you just have to check it out for yourself what the day is for the lights that the birds have on the longest day, so around 21 of June. And I'm not sure if this will be in every county, but you will know for yourself what's the best time to darken the birds. So yeah, so I didn't do it last year, I won't do it this year. So yeah, here we have one of a young bird from last year. This one is a 708. You all know her. But yeah, I think it was November halfway or end November that this one did molt every last of the flights. So yeah, you will get that earlier as well. So I'm not sure what that will do as an old bird, if they will molt earlier or not, but we'll see. Last year I did darken old birds, but yeah, that's not where this video will be mostly about. So when the young birds are weaned and they will train around the house for around 2 hours in a training. My young birds even try to do it 4 hours, but that will be mostly when the birds are moving away. So some people say that the birds doesn't go that far away from the loft, but I have things with GPS rings that's showing that the birds even are getting up for 30 to 40 kilometers around the loft, and that's more that they will go with other birds that are basket for training toss, things like that. I even have birds that did a training of around 150 up to 200 kilometers just by training by house. So yeah, they will train a lot, and mostly on the high season, when the young birds are training at home, they will do up to 4 or 5 hours a day, and it means that yeah, the birds train a lot, and you also have to feed more to those birds, because otherwise they will just drop in the training habits, and then yeah, it will also be bad for the season as well. But yeah, when the birds are like 12 to 13 weeks, I will start bring them on a training toss. So I will start mostly between 5 to 10 kilometers, something like that. Some say you have to start with a kilometer, but that's yeah, bullshit. I mean, if a bird is training around the loft for even 10 to 20, 30, maybe 40 kilometers around the loft, why should you start with one? I mean, it's not necessary. So I start with the birds around 10 kilometers, and I want the birds to be back before I got back at the loft. So that means the birds should be released on the place where I go for the first time. They have to circle a few times around, and then they have to go straight back to home. And that's the best way to learn. So mostly the first few times I will go to the same place just to let the birds know how it works, where they have to go and things like that. I think with the young birds, to win time on the races is to make sure that the birds are leaving the spot when they are released, so directly. So when they got released, that they just directly go to the right direction and going home. I think for especially on the shorter distance, that will be the best way to win the race. I did sometimes that I just start from, I think we're gonna just toss the bird somewhere, and I was at work and I had to come by my home, and I thought, well, I will take the bird, so I did that. It was just a short distance of around 7 kilometers, I think, and it was nice weather, sun, just a blue sky with some clouds as well. At the moment I released the birds, I saw that it looked like everything was fine. I mean, the birds circled around the place where I released them, and they go away the right direction. But while I was working there, I just sometimes checked the sky and I saw the birds fly still on the same place. That took about, I think, 30 to 45 minutes before the birds even got away from that place. So that means that not everything was right for them. So it was, I think, the 4th or 5th time that I released the birds on 10 to 15 kilometers. So at that point I did change a little bit of direction, and it was like 7 kilometers to their loft. So it wasn't that far away. You would say if they were in the sky, then you could see the place where they have to go. But yeah, they did about flying 30 to 40 minutes around that place. So I just do not know what happened. Maybe it was the inversion they were talking about a lot, that with releasing the birds. Maybe it was just the place, that there was something in there, in that surrounding, what was distracting the birds to go to home. So yeah. So for the birds, it's all in their heads. I mean, the navigation should be alright. It also means that we have to make sure that the airways, things like that, are always clean and great, so that the birds are getting a lot of oxygen, things like that, that they can perform the best way for them, and yeah, to make it home the fastest way. So yeah, when we have that part done, like we have tossed the birds around 10 times maybe, and they will go directly to the loft. Then we go, every time we go a step further away, so 5, 10, 20. And then when that part is done, we're gonna release the birds one by one on different distances. So we start at 20, one by one. I mean, with the young birds, I have like 10, 15, or maybe 20 in the race. So that means that they have to do it on their own. I mean, if they were released with 19,000 other pigeons, they won't find each other back. So that means they have to fly and race all the way, or at least the last part, all the way to the loft at their own. So I want the birds to be fast on the last few parts, so to do it on their own. So I will release the birds one by one with like 5 minutes between it. Sometimes they will come together, sometimes they just go straight to home. And the birds, you will see it when you do a training toss like that, one by one. You will see the birds that are in the right condition and are sharp. You will see them, they maybe will make one round and they go home. They know exactly what to do, where to go. And then with those things, you can also can see if the birds are healthy or not. I mean, if the birds keep circling around, you know something is wrong. Maybe it's the place, maybe it's the surrounding, the environment, weather, whatever. But yeah, if the birds are in great condition, they will make one circle and they will take off to the loft. So yeah, something to keep in mind. So yeah, we will do that one by one up to 50 kilometers. And it all depends on if I have the time. We still have to work. It's a lot of work also with the birds. I mean, in the high season with the race, everything like that, it will take 3 to 4 hours a day sometimes to be around the birds, clean them, bring them away, train them, toss them, everything. So yeah, it's a hobby that takes a lot of time, but if everything goes great, the rewards will be nice as well. So especially when you have a pigeon like this, I mean, this is the best thing, right? Just a pigeon friend. So a friend of mine, that's Dean, he's from the UK. He's calling this one sweet pea or sweet pie, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. So yeah, let's call this one sweet pie. I think it's pea pie, P-E-A. It will call it like that. So that's what we're gonna do with this one. And yeah, she likes me and she likes her partner as well, I hope. So I hope it will extra motivate her to come home a lot faster. She knows I'm home when she has to come home, so I hope that will motivate her as well. So yeah, with the young birds, I think I tell the most of it. For the races, yeah, you just train them by house. If you did all the basketing before the trainings, it's not necessary to train the birds on a training toss during the racing season. I mean, yeah, sometimes I do if it's the short distance something, but otherwise I won't, because it's not necessary. If the birds train at house with 2 hours a day, it will be enough. Then you don't have to bring them to a training toss, it's not necessary. Maybe it will even deform them. I mean, when you train too much for a race, it will affect your overall status. So yeah, I think that was it. And otherwise we'll do a second video about it with the Youngbirds as well. So guys, I hope you liked this video. Please give a thumbs up. Like this video down below. Appreciate it. We see you on the next one. Bye guys.